Class is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Oh. Hello. We're just going to get started in just a couple minutes, so give us just a time being, and we'll be with you in just a couple minutes. Okay, we will get started. So if you have any questions, there is a chat function at the very bottom of the webinar, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask us and we will try and answer them as best as possible. So let's just jump right in. Oh my goodness. Okay, try this again. Okay, so hello everyone, my name is Sarah Tuff and I am going to be leading the webinar here today. I also have with me Adam Johns, who is the coordinator of the program. So he'll be able to answer any and all questions you have about the program. So he's also a Red Seal licensed carpenter and has worked at the college for 10 plus years and is also involved in community work within the program. And as I mentioned, my name is Sarah and I'm the recruitment officer here at the college, and I've been working at the college for over 2 years now. So we'll give you a little bit of an overview behind what we have here at the Pembroke campus. So we are a small campus. We have about 1,000 students that attend this campus. There's a great student to prof ratio. Class sizes are around 25 to 50 students, depending on the programs. We are committed to student success, so we're making sure that you are getting through your program and making sure that you are successful within the program. And we're also connected to the labor market. So the labor market is here in the Renfrew County, is there to make sure that we have jobs for our students at the end of their program. So we're happy to have be connected to the labor market. And we will, there we go. Just to give you guys an example, I don't know where everyone is located, but we're at the Pembroke campus currently. We have our main campus in Ottawa, and Perth also has a campus, but we're in between North Bay and Ottawa, if you don't know our location. We also have other programs. So we have the collaborative degree program, which is our 4-year program. We have a 2-year diploma. We have a compressed diploma, which can be 1 to 1.5 years. We also have our certificate, which is what the Carpentry and Renovation techniques is, and also co-op diplomas and articulation agreements too. Okay, so I'm going to pass it over to Adam, and he's going to give us a bit of an insight into the Carpentry and Renovation Techniques program. So take it away, Adam.
Hi there, how's everybody doing tonight? My name is Adam Johns, as Sarah introduced me, and I'm the coordinator of the program. So we run a 1-year certificate program. It's an introductory level program designed to help students find a pathway into the career of carpentry or plumbing and just kind of get their foot in the door so that they can maybe carry on with a general carpentry program and maybe get their Red Seal license if they're interested in doing that down the road. It's also a nice program for students who aren't really sure what they want to do post-secondary. It's a nice, well-rounded program that's going to give you a lot of really good skills that you can use throughout your whole life. So I always tell people, everybody's going to own a house someday. This is a great program to help maybe further your skills, so you can do some stuff around your house and maybe avoid some really expensive carpentry costs down the road. And if you get into the carpentry, then you get to charge that pile of money to people. So it's a win-win both ways. So we have a bunch of courses. Obviously, our main one is the Building Tools and Materials course. So that's a first semester course. We spend somewhere between 6 and 9 hours a week in the shop doing hands-on stuff, which is really beneficial to our students. We find most of our students are really hands-on learners. So we do a lot of individual shop projects in semester 1. So learning how to use hand tools, power tools safely, accurately, and a big focus on math semester 1, just to kind of get everybody going and used to using all the tools. And then second semester, we jump right in with framing. So we explore building a house right from the ground up. We talk about the foundation work and the footings. We get into floor joists and subfloors, wall framing, roof framing, different types of roof framing, drywall, insulation, shingling, soffit fascia, siding, window and door installation, stair building. We kind of cover a pretty good basis of everything. We don't get into too much about individual specific stuff like flooring for actual hands-on, but we do talk about them in fairly good detail. So you get a really good, well-rounded view of the program. We also have the plumbing portion, which is nice. Students get to do plumbing. And that seems to be something that students really like as well, because they're not just getting the carpentry; they're kind of getting a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And welding is another aspect to our program, so you get a welding course as well, which is really good. This pathway can potentially grant you an exemption from your level 1 general carpentry apprenticeship. Just the in-schooling portion, though. So if you're familiar with the apprenticeship, you'll probably be aware that you have to do about 3 to 4 years on the job site. So you need 7,200 hours worth of job site training before you can write your Red Seal exam, which is a 100 multiple choice question, which sounds really easy, but I guarantee it's not. Trust me. So with that, so you work for 3 to 4 years on a job site, and you typically have to come to school 3 different times. So we have level 1, level 2, and level 3. This program can count as your level 1 in schooling. So you would save 8 weeks of schooling down the road, and you'd be able to just work for the first 2 years on the job site, making money, and then come back for your level 2 down the road, if that was a route that you decided to take. So our students find work in all different areas. So we've had some that have gone to work at the contractor desks at the hardware stores. Some work at Home Depot. Some join framing crews. Some are working for just general carpenters that do renovations and framing. Some of them have gone on to the commercial side of things. So we have some that work in the union. They work for Sullivan's, a big company out of Arnprior. And they travel all over Ontario. I was just speaking to one of my students last night, actually, and he's getting sent up to Manitoba for the next 3 weeks to work on some type of a dam, I believe, that's up there. So a great opportunity for him. And, wherever you are, it's nice to get that experience, get a little bit of background, and obviously make a good living. This is a good paying industry for the most part. So.
And you also, students do receive about approximately $250 worth of tools, depending?
I would say the tool package is probably closer to $300, maybe a little bit more. We get a good discount because we're buying so many at the same time. So, it gets worked into your tuition, but you're only paying a portion of what the actual tools are worth. So I hand pick all of the tools. You'll get a tool pouch or a carpenter's apron, whatever you want to call it. You'll get a hammer, a handsaw, a block plane, chisel set, utility knife, speed squares, tape measures, pencils, kind of a whole package that you would typically need to walk onto any job site and start working. So
it definitely prepares you for it.
Yeah, great. It's a great little package. We've never had any complaints about the tools that we've bought. I usually handpick them myself, and I make sure that they are top quality tools.
Awesome. And another cool thing about the Carpentry Renovation Techniques program is that the program itself does a lot of community involvement. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So we just wrapped up this year. This past year was the first year that we got to do an off-site renovation project, which was really great. We worked in cooperation with the Office Administration Program here at the college. They kind of got the ball rolling and did a lot of fundraising. And that fundraising was used to buy renovation materials for the Grind in Pembroke. And if you don't know what the Grind is, it's a local community run business that helps people without homes and people who are less fortunate than others to kind of get their feet on the ground and maybe to get a meal and stuff like that. And in this situation, they were donated a house by somebody in the community that was in kind of rough shape. And they were going to turn it into a transition house, so a short-term stay facility for the homeless. So it needed some TLC, and we were there to join in. We worked 2 weeks every day at the house for about 8 hours a day, and we got a lot done there. We were able to strap and insulate all the exterior walls. We drywalled pretty well the whole thing after gutting it. We redid a complete bathroom and installed a working tub. Actually, it came up that there was a little bit more to do. There was a crack in the vent pipe, which was cast iron because the house was like 100 years old. So our plumbing teacher actually led students in groups of about 3 every day, and they worked at redoing the whole plumbing for the whole house pretty well, right from the basement all the way up through the roof, which was really interesting for the students. They had a good time with that. And then the rest of us would work on the strapping and the insulating and the drywall. We got the tape and mud. And do some framing, all kinds of stuff. It was a really great experience, and the students just loved it. They had a great 2 weeks. So.
And it was also awesome too because the program itself did receive an award.
We did. We were actually honored with the Good Samaritan Award from the City of Pembroke, which was a real honor. So you can see the slideshow. You'll see me down at the bottom with the Office Administration Coordinator, Connie Pupor, and a student from each of our programs that really helped out with the programs. It took a really good initiative and a good lead on the program. So we went down and we got the award. It was really nice to meet a lot of people in the community that had a lot of positive things that they contributed to here in Pembroke. And I was talking to somebody here at the college today. They were talking to Jerry Novak, who is one of the people who run the Grind. And there was a discussion about us starting to build tiny homes potentially, also to house the homeless as kind of an intermediate location for them to stay after they've gone through this transition house that we worked on last year. So that very well could be something we explore in the future too. Maybe get into the tiny home buildings and maybe do one tiny home a year at least to get started. And we can work with the students on designing that. It's still in the early discussion phase, but things happen pretty quick in our world.
They do, definitely. Yeah. And it's very cool too because obviously the Grind was one of your projects this year, but you have had multiple community projects.
Absolutely. We do something for the community every year. So I think last year we built the corner store, actually, general corner store for the Petawawa Heritage Village, and that's a different one of our larger projects. But we typically do stuff like I'm drawing a blank. We build picnic tables for the city of Pembroke, or barricades and stuff for parades. Some little projects mixed in with some big ones. But I'm trying to push the focus now to larger projects so we can really get the students out there and get them a good experience, a real life experience for the trades.
And it's cool too, because tiny homes are definitely an up and coming.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's getting more and more popular now, and hey, whatever we can do to help is what we want to do, right? So.
Definitely. And it's cool too, because I actually did the Get Her Done mud run this year, so it's cool
fantastic.
to see that couple of
we built a couple of their obstacles a few years ago, so
that's awesome. So if you're a local to the Renfrew County area, it's definitely a fun race to do, and you'll actually get to see some of our students projects from that too, which is great. So we do talk a little bit about our apprenticeship program, and so you can do your 1-year carpentry renovation techniques program here at the college, and then go on to an apprenticeship for the general carpenter.
Yeah, so typically to get into the general carpenter status, you typically have to get a job with a contractor who is Red Seal licensed. And that's not always easy to do for newcomers into the trade. So that's where our Carpentry and Renovation Techniques program comes into play. We give you all the basic skills and teach you about how the job site works and all the safety features. You're given your working at height certificate through our program. And it really gets you ready to step onto a job site and help contribute. And we found that this is much more appealing to a lot of the local contractors in the area, because they can take a student, they don't have to maybe work with them so closely or hover over them so much, so the productivity goes up for them, and there's a lot of good wage kickbacks for them as well from the government by hiring an apprentice. So when they come out of our program, we try and guide them towards a contractor in town, and we usually start getting contacted by them late February, early March. They start calling us and saying, hey, I'm going to need a guy for the summer, or I'm going to need 2 people for the summer. And we just take all that information, we pass it out to the students, and we talk to them about what those contractors are like and the kind of jobs that they typically do, and let the students choose which jobs they want to apply for. And we've had a really good success with placing students for jobs, which is nice. So once they get out of our program and they get maybe signed on to work with a general contractor, after they maybe prove themselves for a couple months, it doesn't usually happen right away that they sign people up, but after they've proved themselves to be a good worker and a reliable worker, they can typically get signed up for an apprenticeship program. So what that means is the employer or the general contractor, if he's Red Seal licensed, he will take that employee down to the ministry office, basically, and get you registered as an apprentice, which means your hours will get backdated since this time you started working. You'll actually be given hours for taking our program as well. And you'll just start working on the job site as a regular employee. And as you go through, after about a year of being on the job site, you'll start getting notifications from the ministry saying, hey, you have so many hours, it's time for you to go to school. So if you've taken our program and you've done very well, you'll be able to not go to that level 1 school because you'll already have the equivalent. So you'll probably stay on the job site for 2 years. And then whenever they send you the letter saying you're eligible for your level 2 in schooling, you will pack up and you will come back to see us. We run all 3 of the levels right here in Pembroke, which is nice. And we'll walk you through the 8 weeks of level 2. You'll go back and work for another year on the job site. And then you'll get another notice saying you're ready for level 3. You'll do your level 3, which is 9 weeks. And then if you have your hours, your 7,200 hours, you will be eligible to write your Red Seal exam and hopefully become a full-fledged licensed carpenter, which is really nice because it opens a lot more doors and increases your wages. So you can now work places like CNL, or if you work for the union, your wages might go from $28 an hour to $38, $40 some dollars an hour, plus benefits and everything. So, good area to be in.
And you also do prepare the students for the Red Seal exam as well, so that...
We do, absolutely. So all the way through, even starting out in the Carpentry and Renovation Techniques program, we are constantly telling students, hey, this is a Red Seal license question. This is the kind of stuff that you need to know. Pay attention to this specifically. So the whole time we're seeing students, we are guiding them to help them pass that exam. And we have a pretty good success rate, actually. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that with the apprenticeship program, they are getting paid throughout the whole time.
Absolutely. They're getting paid while they're working. When they're in school for those portions, they're getting employment insurance. So, that's a nice avenue. And
That's
really,
awesome.
Yeah. Good system we got going.
Exactly, which is great for students wanting to get into
for sure.
into the trades. And so a question I could ask is, what, coming out of the Carpentry Renovation Techniques program, what would be, or an average salary for the students or the graduates?
It really varies on where you're going to go. If you're going to go into the residential side of business, it'll probably start at a little less. You might only start out at somewhere between $16 and $19 an hour till you start. But really, it's a business that, if you prove yourself competent and reliable and worthy, you can really climb that pay scale rather quickly. And, realistically, we're not a mandated trade. So technically, you could start your own business coming out of our program and charge whatever you want. If you can get the jobs and do the work confidently, you should be okay. So, it really depends on where you're going. If you want to go into, like I said, a union side of things, it wouldn't be an understatement to say you're going to start somewhere in the mid-20 range, probably. So,
which is awesome, and especially because the skilled trades are in dire need for.
Absolutely, the government's pushing hard to get more tradespeople in the trade. So, let's fill that void, and if you're willing to travel. My goodness, if you're willing to travel, you can pick up a really good wage if you're willing to go to some of the places that are a little bit more remote.
Yes.
If you're a young single person and you don't have anything tying you down, really the sky's the limit for you.
And a lot of the times too, they'll fly you in and out and make sure that everything's paid for, accommodation, food.
I know people. Actually, somebody just came through level 3 apprenticeship. They were working a couple years ago for a diamond mine, I believe, up north, and they were on a 3-week in, 2-week out schedule or something along those lines.
Normally, give or take, yeah.
They said that they cleared over 100. They cleared over $100,000 that year.
Wow.
Yeah, in just 1 year. And I mean, you stay in this business long enough and you get really good. So, you might not be making super high wages for the first 2 or 3 years. You're making a decent wage. But as you get going and you start potentially branching out on your own or starting your own company, if you're efficient at running that business, there's a lot of money to be made. I've cleared more than $10,000 in a month before. Wow. Just picking up little jobs. Yeah. If you're good at what you do and you work fast and efficiently and you're organized, there's a lot of potential in this business.
Especially if you build up that reputation as well.
Absolutely.
That's huge.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Awesome. So we'll talk a little bit about what our student services have to offer here at the Pembroke campus. So we do have a co-op office, but there's also the employment services side of it too. So we do have employment services that can help you build that resume, your cover letter, do interviewing skills. We do also have employment days too, where we'll bring in employers to talk to our students and make sure that they know where they're going and everything. As I mentioned before, we did have our student success specialist. So she's here to make sure that you get from point A to point B. So all the way from day 1 to graduation. We have our counseling services. We do have financial aid. So if you're looking for applying for OSAP or anything of that, we do have financial aid officers here at the campus. We have our Center for Accessible Learning. So if you had an IEP in high school or if you require any additional accommodations, we can accommodate those for you. I'd highly recommend looking into that now rather than start of September, as it does get pretty busy for the Center for Accessible Learning. We have our health services. So she runs a flu shot clinic, everything in between, as well as our learning strategist to make sure that you're staying on top of your work. And at the campus, we do give about $250,000 worth of bursaries. So you will get a link every new semester. So for the Carpentry Renovation Techniques program, you will get basically 2 links to apply for bursaries. And that's just given out to our students just who go to Algonquin College. So it's very, very cool, and we make sure that it goes to deserving students.
There's also a link on the college website too about the Weston family bursary, which is a huge promotional bursary that we just got this year, which is really good.
Which is exciting. So if you want any more information, feel free to send me an email, and I can connect you with the bursary for that one as well. As well as we make sure that you guys have fun. So obviously you're coming to college to take a program, but we're also there to make sure that you're going to have fun. So we feed you, we make sure there's events. We have our student association that runs tons of different events, from intramurals to laser tag competitions to video game nights,
student staff hockey game, softball tournament, dirty bingo, you name it, we have it.
Basically, yes. And even trips down to Ottawa to see Ottawa Red Blacks. You can also see Ottawa Senators games as well, and they're relatively cheap tickets. Normally about $30 for your transportation there and back, which is great, because I know an NHL ticket normally is not $30.
No.
Not in the nosebleeds, that's for sure, either. So we'll make sure that you are having fun and enjoying your experience here on campus. If you are from out of town, we do have 3 privately owned residences. So we have Amna House, which is the top right photo, and that is a single room, but you have a shared kitchen, shared bathroom. Algonquin House is the photo on your left, and that is your own room. You do have your own bathroom within that one as well, so you don't have to share with anyone. And the last picture on the bottom is 320 Lake Street. So that is apartment style living. So you do live with 2 other people. Normally they'll try and put you in a program, or people who are in your program or similar programs, so that you're not dealing with potentially maybe a nursing student that has a crazy hectic schedule, or making sure that you are with the right people. So if you want, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook if you want to. And if you have any more questions, feel free to contact myself or Adam. Our emails and our phone numbers are there too. We'll be more than happy to answer any and all questions. We will be staying on for just a couple more minutes, so if you do have any questions for us, there is a questions part of that you can answer or ask us, and we will be more than happy to answer. But if not, you can ask those questions offline at either our emails or our extensions. So hopefully that was enough information for you guys to get a jump on things. And if you have any more questions, let us know. If not, we will hopefully see you guys in September.
Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks.